Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day. Heidi, do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. Today is Friday, the 6th day of March. It is National Dentist's Day, National Dress Day, National Frozen Food Day, National Oreo Cookie Day. I encourage you to eat Oreo cookies before you go to the dentist.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then it's also National White Chocolate Cheesecake Day. Oh, that sounds good. National Dress in Blue Day, National Speech and Debate Education Day, and National Employee Appreciation Day. A lot of things going on today, so if you're going to celebrate any of those, have fun doing it. Also, I got a guest joining me. William Shatner is super popular in a lot of different circles. And there's a guy by the name of Michael Starr who has written a new book called Shatner. And it talks about a lot of things you know about William Shatner, but there's also things that you maybe you don't know. I don't know how do you say that?
Maybe you don't, that you might not know.
There you go. That's what I meant. Stick around. It's all on the way.
If you grew up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, you should consider joining us for this amazing vacation.
My wife and I have been to this event the last 3 years, and we've had a blast.
Join us at the Sands.
Hear amazing music from Billy Idol,
Cheap Trick,
Belinda Carlisle,
Little River Band,
The Hooters,
Tesla,
Howard Jones,
and many more.
Plus, meet awesome stars from movies and TV.
It's the best week ever.
Learn more right now at thesands.rocks.
That's thesands.rocks.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. A study by the University of Lancaster, or Lancaster, depending on where you are, found Edgar Allan Poe most likely did not kill himself as previously reported.
Okay.
So they're saying, no, it was murder.
Murder.
Maybe. I don't know.
Wonder what he knew about the...
Oh, would you just stop, Heidi? I've got a link to the story if you want to know all about it. It's in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Not all credit cards are created equally. Some cards have higher rates, some have annual fees, some are just not very good. Often people will sign up for these because that's all they qualify for. But if you've done that, it may be time to get a better credit card. Over time, your situation can change. Then you could qualify for a better credit card, one that offers you a better rate, or one that offers miles, points, cash back, or whatever is the best fit for you. Check it out for free at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
This is your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by Time4Rehab.com. Kentucky police arrest a man after he reportedly broke into a woman's home and stole her underwear. What?
Oh.
Victim's brother told the police that this dude was seen on video entering their home. And on the surveillance video, they saw him going through a hamper, then pulling out a pair of underwear and sticking them in his pocket.
Gross.
The underwear found in a bin outside of his home. They said, why did you do this? He goes, well,
why did you do them and then throw them away? That doesn't make any sense.
I had a couple of drinks and decided on a whim to break into her home. He was arrested, being held in jail. This, by the way, I think is from like a month ago. I got to tell you, I am like a whole month behind. There are a lot of people who do silly things under the influence, Heidi. We have so many stories stacking up here. I'm trying to get caught up, but we just do one a day, and we call it our Brain on Drugs. Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. A new Elizabeth Moss thriller has hit the theaters. It's called Invisible Man. Have you seen previews for this one?
I have seen them, yes.
Here's the thing I think is funny. A friend of mine actually posted an Invisible Man action figure that's for sale, and it was just
empty.
Yeah, it was nothing. So that was kind of clever, though. ABC has greenlit a version of The Bachelor for senior citizens. What that means is that they've given it the go-ahead.
Right.
And they say they've been getting overwhelmed with applications for their senior citizen version of The Bachelor. So when this first came out, we kind of scoffed at it a bit. I just can't imagine
who's going to want to watch this.
Well, you know what? I think it would actually be kind of interesting. I didn't think they would have anybody that would want to be on it. But they say they've been overwhelmed. Like, they couldn't believe how many people reached out. So I don't know how it's going to go, but I would actually give them a better chance of making it work than the youngsters. So it'll be interesting to see. I've got a link to that in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Drinking too much can ruin your life. Alcohol and drug issues can cause problems at work, at home, and pretty much everywhere. If substance abuse has taken over your life and you want to quit, there is help. Timeforrehab.com could be the first step in the right direction for you. Timeforrehab.com would love to help you find a new life beyond addiction. Your insurance company may even cover the cost to help make this happen. You can learn more now at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Now, your scoop of the day, brought to you by FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. Heidi, how long does it take for you to recognize your favorite song when it comes on the radio?
Just a split second, not even a second.
According to a study from University College London, they find that your brain is capable of recognizing familiar music in about 1/10 of 1 second.
Yep.
So like that much,
Yep.
boom, I already know what
right
it is.
away.
I know what it is. That's the one. There was actually a TV show, Name That Tune. Remember that?
Yeah.
I can name that tune in one note. I can name that tune in
Yep.
whatever. I guess usually it was a smaller number, so I don't know that I was ever good at that show. But highway patrol officers in Australia caught a woman eating breakfast while driving. They observed her steering with her knees while holding a plate in one hand and a fork in another.
Oh my gosh.
We encourage you to not do such things.
Such a
that's
bad
terrible
idea.
plan. Really bad idea. Fashion designer Giorgio Armani says the industry is, quote, I'm going to say what he said, raping women. That's his term, end quote, with its sex-driven marketing campaigns.
Okay.
So he's saying, guys, come on, let's class this up a bit. So it'd be interesting to see if the fashion designer industry would listen.
Mm-hmm.
I see online some of these photos from like the runway shows, and they have people wearing like garbage bags and like.
They're so.
I just
bizarre.
don't understand that. I'm like, what? Why?
Yeah.
Why would anybody go to those?
So bizarre.
Nobody's going to wear that stuff. Hasbro, and let me pause for a second. People would wear that stuff if they can't afford clothing, but the one that they're doing is like a $4,000 garbage bag. Like, I just get one out of the closet or the cupboard over here for free.
Are you done?
Yeah. Back over to this. Hasbro announced that Tiger Electronics is bringing back their handheld games from the 90s, including Sonic the Hedgehog. Also, Transformers and The Little Mermaid. Speaking of Sonic the Hedgehog, my Movie Star Monday guest for this coming Monday is Lee Majdoub from Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I'm so excited to chat with him. Anyway, this I think is really cool. I like that there are people that are getting nostalgic for the 90s now. You know, people have been nostalgic for the 80s for a while, which I love that.
I do too.
But I think it's cool that now they're getting nostalgic for the 90s, and some of the 90s things are coming back too. Former director of the Center for Disease Control says kids could be secret carriers of the coronavirus because many kids, even when they have it, do not show symptoms of it. So that's interesting. And it says here, high school kids cannot party like we could when we were kids. They say it is harder today to get beer, and it is almost impossible to find cigarettes, according to a recent study.
I completely disagree with
Do you
that,
think
but
so?
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, well, according to this, they're saying that back when we were kids, it was easier because you could do it. But now stores have cracked down, things have cracked down, so I don't know.
No, I'm not even going to say because...
Okay, I'm glad you don't. That's a good...
Yeah.
Just leave it there.
Right.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.
Introducing InsuranceChicken.com. Why InsuranceChicken.com? Why not? Another insurance company has a duck, one has an emu, and that other company has a lizard. So InsuranceChicken.com is no more silly than any of those. Is it time for you to cross the road for your insurance? Don't be chicken. Check out InsuranceChicken.com. We'll help you peck out the best insurance rates we can find at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Today we have Michael Starr joining us, and Michael Starr has a brand new book coming out. It's called Shatner, and it's about William Shatner. And I got to tell you, Mr. Starr, I'm a fan of Mr. Shatner, so when I read your book, will I still like him?
I think so. You know, go into it with an objective eye, John. I think it's straight down the middle. I mean, when I write these books, I don't try to psychoanalyze people especially people I don't know. I don't know Bill Shatner. I've interviewed him for the New York Post. I don't know him personally. So I try to just trace his life and career. The facts are there. There are interviews with people he's worked with and people who know him and knew him back in the day in Montreal. So you make your own judgments, but I think it's a pretty fair assessment of his life and his career up until this point.
Now, you mentioned the New York Post. You've been there since 1999, and I know a lot of folks know your work from there, but many people also know your work from several other books that did pretty darn good, didn't they?
Yeah. It's I try to find interesting subjects. Art Carney was one of my favorites. That was early on, and Raymond Burr, Red Fox, Joey Bishop, Bobby Darin. The last book that came out before this one was a biography of Ringo Starr from the Beatles. So they've done well, and I hope that people who read these books and read Shatner learn a lot about the subject and maybe learn some things they didn't know, and they come away and they say, yeah, you know what, I that was interesting. I never knew that about, fill in the blank, whoever it may be. And I think the way you do that is by just laying the facts out there and trying to talk to as many people as you can who know these people personally, and gives you sort of a different perspective on their lives, both professional and personal, or as personal as you can get without getting too personal, because who knows what really goes on. But I think you talk to people who know your subject, they really can give you a better perspective on that person's personality and impact on whatever career they're in. I usually write about actors and comedians and that sort of thing, so it would be the show business industry, like Bill Shatner. I mean, look at this guy. He's turning 89 in March, and he's still working. He's out there every day. It's to me, that's incredible.
So, William Shatner, as a subject, how in the world did you decide, of all the people you could write about, how was he the one to be your next book?
I try to pick people who are iconic in their own way and who have not really been written about by a biographer or a third person. I mean, Bill Shatner's written many books himself. He's written books about Star Trek. He wrote his own science fiction series called Tech War. He's written a book about his relationship with Leonard Nimoy. He wrote a book about his love of horses. He's been all over the place. But nobody has ever, from the third-person perspective, taken a step back and put all the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle together, hopefully into a cohesive picture of what this man is all about, the impact he's had on pop culture, the impact he's had on television and on movies, theater to a little bit of an extent, if you go back to the late 50s, early 60s here in New York, Broadway. So he's really touched all the bases in his career, and I wanted to show people how much he's done and the extent to which he's always been willing to spread his wings, so to speak, and go in different directions. I mean, here's a guy who's done stand-up comedy. He was the Priceline spokesman, the Priceline negotiator in the early days of the Internet. He's toured with a one-man show. He's done country music albums, Christmas albums. I mean, he's done so much in his career. And you can't cover everything. And I think if I did, I would have bored people to tears because, as I said, because he's done so much, you can't list everything. But you try to touch on the touchstones of his career and the important turning points and the important projects that people know him for, and then maybe work in a little bit of information about projects perhaps they didn't know about, or enlighten people a little bit about, oh yeah, I didn't know that Bill Shatner, appeared on daytime game shows in the 70s. I forgot about that, or I didn't know it at all. So hopefully it's told in a way that keeps the narrative flowing and lets people learn a little bit about who this man is. They know as Captain Kirk, but he's so much more and has done so much more in his career.
Our guest has been Michael Starr. The book is called Shatner. It's available now. I have a link to it in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
If you grew up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, you should consider joining us for this amazing vacation.
My wife and I have been to this event the last 3 years, and we've had a blast.
Join us at The Sands.
Hear amazing music from Billy Idol,
Cheap Trick,
Belinda Carlisle,
Little River Band,
The Hooters,
Tesla,
Howard Jones,
and many more.
Plus, meet awesome stars from movies and TV.
It's the best week ever.
Learn more right now at thesands.rocks.
That's thesands.rocks.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
For about 100 years, maps have shown an island that doesn't exist. Almost nothing is known about Sandy Island, a landmass about the size of Manhattan in the Pacific Ocean just off the coast of Australia. It says here the explorer James Cook discovered this island in 1876.
So what do you mean it doesn't exist?
Well, it was on maps starting in about 1908. But in 2012, when a team of Australian scientists went out to survey the island, they got there and realized, wait, there is no island. So they think what he might have discovered was a pumice raft. It was actually floating volcanic stone and gas just floating on top of the water that looked like an island, but it was actually not.
Okay.
It says the Sydney Morning Herald published an obituary for Sandy Island. So there you go. This has been a very fun fact.
Not all credit cards are created equally. Some cards have higher rates, some have annual fees, some are just not very good. Often people will sign up for these because that's all they qualify for. But if you've done that, it may be time to get a better credit card. Over time, your situation can change. Then you could qualify for a better credit card, one that offers you a better rate, or one that offers miles, points, cash back, or whatever is the best fit for you. Check it out for free at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Now, a news headline from somewhere in this world. Dateline Tokyo. This just in. Summer Tokyo Olympics in Tokyo could be moved to a different location potentially because of the corona outbreak. So I don't know when they're going to announce this officially, but online there's a lot of people pushing for this, saying, come on, do it somewhere else.
Am I the only one who thinks maybe the Olympics are a little antiquated and might want to just stop doing those?
I think it's really a cool thing for people who are interested in that kind of thing. If you're not interested in that kind of thing, it's not up to you. But you know what? Then don't watch it. Don't go to it. Who cares?
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like it's, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool for people who are into that kind of thing. Again, we are not sports folks.
We are not sports folk.
This has been today's news headline from somewhere in this world.
Drinking too much can ruin your life. Alcohol and drug issues can cause problems at work, at home, and pretty much everywhere. If substance abuse has taken over your life and you want to quit, there is help. TimeForRehab.com could be the first step in the right direction for you. TimeForRehab.com would love to help you find a new life beyond addiction. Your insurance company may even cover the cost to help make this happen. You can learn more now at TimeForRehab.com. That's TimeForRehab.com.
Now, some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. This could have been our moment of duh, Heidi. An Ohio inmate's brazen jailbreak attempt back in January was caught on video with the recording showing her fall through the ceiling of a holding room and landed head first into a trash can.
Yikes.
Yeah. 42-year-old Jessica Boomershine was at the Montgomery County Jail facility in Dayton back in January when she dragged a chair across the floor of the holding room, tried to climb through the ceiling tile. Surveillance shows her crashing through the ceiling. It says she disappeared into the ceiling as other inmates cheered her on. Seconds later, the ceiling tiles fall to the floor and her legs reappear. One of the guard grabs her legs and pulls her down. She crashed headfirst into a wastebasket. She was charged with escape and vandalism, according to county jail records. So, wow. That is just so weird. Like I said, could have been our moment of dub, but boy, stick around. We got a doozy for that one. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh, brought to you by SingleStudentLoan.com. Talk about funny money. A New Jersey man faces charges after using a fake $100 bill to pay for gas on Christmas Day. So this is another old story. The last one was from January. This one says here he reportedly drove his BMW to a gas station on Christmas Day. He handed the clerk a $100 bill. The police were told that the cops said that he was surprised the gas station took the bill because it says $100 on it, but it also says for motion picture use only, right across both sides of it.
Well, why did he even try to pass it off as that then?
He passed it off and they took it. It says
the cops said he was surprised.
Yeah, the
I
cops
thought the guy with the BMW said, I'm surprised.
No, the police were like, we're really shocked that he even took it. It says the note is not legal. It's supposed to be used for like filming movies. During the investigation, the gas station owner realized that they also had the suspect had stolen gas from the station the day before Thanksgiving. They're like, oh, wait a minute. We got this guy on tape doing this, too.
And he's driving around a BMW.
Yeah, detectives tracked down this gentleman, and he turned himself over to police in February, charged with 1 count of theft and 1 count of fraud.
Wonder if that's how he paid for his BMW.
I don't know. Bad idea, though. Don't do that. It's today's moment of duh.
Introducing InsuranceChicken.com. Why InsuranceChicken.com? Why not? Another insurance company has a duck, one has an emu, and that other company has a lizard. So InsuranceChicken.com is no more silly than any of those. Is it time for you to cross the road for your insurance? Don't be chicken. Check out InsuranceChicken.com. We'll help you peck out the best insurance rates we can find at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Now, fake news or Florida? Heidi, tell me, is this a true story from the great state of Florida, or is it hashtag fake news made up just to trick you and kind of amuse me?
Okay.
All right, tell me. Fake news or Florida? Police in Niceville, Florida, say a naked man started a house fire while drunkenly baking cookies on a George Foreman grill. Fake news or Florida?
Florida.
It is a true story.
Talked about that
Yeah,
one.
we sure did.
I
And
remember him.
How could you forget it?
How could you forget him?
Yeah, who bakes
You know what?
cookies?
I say A for effort. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a... I
don't
mean,
understand
in
why he was-
theory, I can see what he might have been thinking.
I don't understand why he was naked in the first place, though.
I don't know.
So
He had to stir the chocolate chip cookies up with
Would you
some.
just stop? Oh, boy. This has been hashtag fake news or Florida.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. Comes your way courtesy of bettercreditcards.com. Cool people there, by the way. Here we go. No, this isn't fake news. What am I talking about? This is good news. I got the good news.
It's good news.
Here's the headline. That's what I meant to say. A single dad adopts a 13-year-old boy who was abandoned at a hospital 2 years ago. What?
What? Somebody abandoned a 13-year-old?
It says 13-year-old boy officially found his forever home after being abandoned 2 years ago, so he would have been 11 at the time, at a hospital. It says
What is that?
Tony has been in a foster care system since he was 2. At the age of 4, Tony was adopted by a couple in Oklahoma. But 2 years ago, the adopted parents left him at a hospital and never came back.
Oh, my gosh.
January of 2018, Peter Mutzbazi, who had been a foster parent for 3 years, received a call asking if he could take Tony for the weekend. It was supposed to be for 2 days. Well, that was a couple years ago. He said, by that time, I was crying. I thought, who would do that?
Right.
He said, once I knew the parents' rights were signed off and he had nowhere to go, I knew I had to take him. Tony was adopted by Peter, but before their union was made official, Tony was already calling him Dad. He said, he's the nicest, smartest kid I've ever had. He said, from day one, he's always called me Dad. He's truly meant it, too. He looks up to me. And you can tell just from the photos on here, these two
Who
absolutely...
would do that? What on earth is wrong with
I don't
those
know.
people?
I sure hope that couple is no longer allowed to
Right?
adopt other kids, because you don't do that.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it is. And I've got a photo of the two, and I've got the story and all of that, a link to it all in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. So if you'd like to check it out, that's where you can find it. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.